Welcome all, Mini Brads here. So, Season 15 Overload mods are back to bows, thank God, and swords. So, firstly, exotic bows. The triple exotic bows, Le Monarch, Tiku's Divination, and Trinity Cool. We all know how good these are at overloads, especially Le Monarch and Tiku's, just allowing you to maintain that stun and continue that burning effect and poison effect. So I'm not going to go into detail about those anymore. So, primary bows. There's 3 primary bows available at the moment. These are the Biting Winds bow from Europa. It will roll with rapid hit and surplus, and it does come with an explosive head for its final perk column. Then you've got another bow from Goz, which is the Accrued Redemption, which runs with Archer's Tempo and Explosive Head. And you've also got the Whispering Slab, which is in the World Drop, and that is also Archer's Tempo and Vorpal. So that's the first 3 primary bows. They're very similar. Explosive Head or Vorpal is what you'd be looking for that high tier content to improve that damage. Obviously, the first 2 being Precision Frames and Whispering Slab being the lightweight frame. So the Biting Wind is a bit of a disappointment to see no Archer Tempo in that 3rd column, but Rapid Hit or Surplus can easily make up for it. Primaries in mind, done. Energy weapons. So we've only got 1 of each type, and then, well, Arcs have got 2, but I'll go back and I'll explain that in a minute. Void to start with. Imperial Needle. Season of the Chosen. Good lightweight bow. Drops with Archer's Tempo and Frenzy. Probably the best roll. It's the roll I have. Doesn't come with Explosive Head. Doesn't come with Vorpal. But that Frenzy buff, especially in GM content, if you're continuously damaging this overload, you're getting that 15% damage buff from it continuously, and it's what we're going to want. Solar Bow, another lightweight frame. Unfortunately comes from the Last Wish raid, and this is the Trinity of Heaven. Again, rolls with Archer's Tempo, Explosive Head, probably what you want in it. It's not too bad. There's not many perks on this gun. There's only 3 perks per column, so it's a lot easier to get the rolls you want, but it does involve you doing Last Wish, or you can always do the Wishing Wall and get to the secret chests if you've already done it. Finally, Arc Bows. We've got 1 lightweight frame, which is the Arsenic Bite, which drops with Dragonfly or Snapshot in that first column, that perk 3, and then Explosive Head in that final perk. It's a bit of a pity not to have Archer's Tempo. Archer's Tempo on this is in the same column as Explosive Head, which is a disappointment, but Dragonfly or Snapshot would probably do the trick. I'm not entirely sure what people consider to put in that. I would probably go with Dragonfly because it's just a little bit more useful for me with just generic ads. And then there is another Arc Bow, which not everyone will have, unfortunately, because it is a curated bow from a couple of seasons ago, which is the Point of the Stag. Arc Bow, precision frame, it only has 1, obviously, set of rolls, and the things what I would suggest for it would be Archer's Tempo and Vorpal Weapon. You've got no distractions, but Archer Tempo, Vorpal Weapon is going to be the best by far. Now, we also have Overload Swords. Now, the first issue of this is when we had Overload Swords a few seasons ago, they did need a couple of hits before the Overload would proc, and you'd be able to overload this champion. So, I'm going to start with Crown Splitter, obviously, with the Titan Crown Splitter. It's high damage. We're all aware how much damage this sword does. It rolls with Vorpal in the final column, and maybe Relentless or Tireless strikes in the 3rd column. It's entirely up to you if you want that ammo back from a few light hits, or do you want ammo back every time you kill something with a charged melee, or charged sword? You've got Quick Fang and a Hunter, which does have one for all and maybe on guard, and that has the same relentless, tireless, but obviously it doesn't have the DPS level of Crown Splitter. A couple honourable mentions before I go on to what could be the best of the swords, and that is like Night Terror, which drops with Vorpal one for all, which from the moon. And we've also got the Abide and Return and Negative Space, which drop from Dreaming City and Prophecy Dungeon alike, and those both drop with Disruption Break, which could be a useful perk for some people, but it'd be very activity based. And finally, the last sword is Guillotine, and that needs no introduction. Everyone's been playing with Guillotine for the past 3-4 seasons, and we know how good that is. So I'm not going to explain that any further. Now, the swords I think could be a bit more useful. Caster frames. Temptation's Hook, World Loot Drop, drops with Vorpal, Tireless Blade, and Relentless Strikes. Probably going to go with Tireless, because if you're going to use a cast frame, you're going to use the cast ability, and that's always a powered sword. Then you've also got the Solar Scar. This is the Trials sword, drops with Relentless, Tireless, and Vorpal as well. So I would say that would probably be the better of the two, because you can get the Adept mods in it, especially if you get Adept version. It does also come with Chain Reaction, but I'd say that Vorpal is what you need. With that in mind, I've got to mention exotic swords. Unfortunately, Lament won't be able to use Overload, which is frustrating because it's already got the anti-barrier, but it won't be able to use Overload. You've got Worldline Zero, could be an interesting one. It's got that teleport function to get you into that fight a little bit closer without getting too much damage on the way in. But I think the one what could be very good is Black Talon, because you can spam the ranged attack very quickly, and especially if you need multiple attacks to get that overload to proc, Black Talon will be able to keep you safe. You use it in the air, or you can throw it a lot faster if you hold back on your controller as you throw in the blades. So I will be trying out Black Talon with Overload when the season comes round, and I think it will be very good fun. That's everything for Overload. I will be doing another video for the Unstoppable soon. I probably won't be covering the pistols. Pulses, I'll probably just go over the top 3 or 4, because we've got fusion rifles, and fusion rifles is what I want to talk about, and linear fusion rifles. So I will catch you all hopefully in the next video. I stream on Twitch weekly. Mini Brads, check me out, anything you need, and obviously leave comments on this, and I will get back to you all. Thank you very much. Ta-da, bye.